Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing how to cope with loss on Blue Monday. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing how to cope with loss on Blue Monday. So I'm uploading this podcast on Blue Monday. Blue Monday is a term coined to describe what is claimed to be the most depressing day of the year. Now the date is claimed to have been calculated via an equation, and this equation supposedly takes into account various factors such as weather conditions, level of potential debt, the time until next Christmas, the likelihood of already failing New Year's resolutions, low motivational levels, and the feeling of a need of action to be taken. Typically, Blue Monday falls on the third Monday of January, though the exact date can vary. The idea is that this time of year hits a peak in post-holiday blues, harsh winter weather, and a general seasonal gloominess. Now there is a bias, such as being based on living in the Northern Hemisphere, for example, but I'm sure you can see why theoretically this time of year can feel challenging, and even more so for those people struggling through grief and loss. Whether this is connected with the actual death of a loved one or the death of a relationship, i.e. a breakup, is the feeling of sadness, loneliness, and a lack of hope which hits people the hardest. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 ways to cope with loss on Blue Monday. Please make sure you contact a local doctor if you feel depressed. You will get through this, and you will feel happiness again. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is seek social support. It's so important to surround yourself with positive, supportive friends and family. This goes without saying on any day of the year, but in particular, Blue Monday, or when we think of this time of year as a whole, which, whether you believe in the principles of the analysis where people said this is the most depressive day of the year, whether you just look at it in a general sense, we are going through what could be considered, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, as a more challenging time of year. Whether it's the credit card debt coming in from Christmas just gone, whether it's the thought that it's going to be a long time before the party season of Christmas and New Year's Eve come round again, and then we have that Northern Hemisphere weather. Whatever it is that you might consider to be a reason which makes you feel more down than normal, if you're also combining this with loss, it can be very, very difficult. And that's why seeking social support, especially at this time of year, can be very, very beneficial. Sharing your feelings with others can help alleviate the burden of grief. You know, I'm a big believer in talk therapy. I provide an audio coaching service where we speak through your specific situation in whatever angle and regard that you are going through right now. So you can tell just from me having such a service, but I'm a big believer in talk therapy. And you might find just as much benefit from speaking with friends or family, loved ones. This can help you. If you want an outside perspective, that's where somebody like myself might come in as somebody you might want to consider speaking with. But if you're happy to do it within your family and friends, this is something that you need to be doing. Now, if you prefer not to talk about your loss, which I do suggest that you do talk through your feelings, but maybe you're having a day where you just don't want to be focused on speaking about it as much, then spending time in the company of loved ones can certainly provide comfort and a sense of normality, even if you're not delving into the subjects at hand. Now, like I said, I do believe you need to speak through your feelings. I don't think bottling things up is healthy. However, you might have a day where you just want to be quiet in the company of loved ones. You might want to take your mind off a situation, off a person you are missing, and therefore you want to focus on smiling, having a laugh, doing enjoyable things. And that is why seeking social support can be very, very important, because you're much more likely to be able to do those things such as have a conversation on a different topic, having a laugh, smiling again. You are more likely to be able to do this when you are in the company of others. So seeking that social support, sending that text message out to your friends and family, giving them a call, asking them if they don't mind coming around, asking if you can go around to theirs. Okay, this is what I suggest you do at a time where you're feeling low, in particular a day like today, the theoretical Blue Monday, the depressive time of year. You can get through your challenges and your problems. You will feel happiness again. And as I said earlier, please contact a local doctor if you do feel depressed. It's very, very important that you seek the support necessary to get you through this difficult stage of your life, but you will get through it. You will come out the other side. And who knows, this year could end up being the best year of your life. It might not feel like it right now, but there's plenty of time to go. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about how to cope with loss on Blue Monday. And point number 2 is connect with nature. Now, whether you are spending time in your own garden or whether you are going further afield, spending time in nature has a calming effect on the mind and body. A simple look around your garden or a walk around a park can be wonderful. It can really brighten up your day. If there's not much daylight where you live right now, then make sure you go out when you can and enjoy those moments surrounded by the beauty of nature. Now, the physical activity of walking around a park, for instance, can really give you that boost due to the positive endorphins which will be released through the gentle exercise, which is walking. That will give you that boost anyway, making sure you get enough sunlight, enough of that natural vitamin D. Again, very, very important. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, then right now that's not too much of a problem. It's your summer. But for most people around the world, we are in the northern hemisphere. It's very dark, it's very bleak. If you're already feeling low, it can really feel like it's coming down on you. Some people wake up in the dark, they go to work in the dark, they stay working throughout the dark, and when they come back home, it is dark. They never actually get that natural daylight because the time they're actually working, it's just that artificial light, and it almost feels like it's probably dark outside because maybe the blinds are closed, the curtains are closed, or whatever you might be in and what you might see. It just doesn't feel like you ever see the light. And therefore, it's so important to get out when you can and enjoy that natural sunlight, that natural vitamin D. Again, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's not as big a problem, but you might still have the challenges that Blue Monday can bring in other directions, such as if you've had an expensive holiday season, maybe you spent a lot of money over the Christmas period, the New Year period, and now you might be getting that bill for your credit card and things can be seeming a little bit more difficult than perhaps you hoped they would be at this time, on top of the loss that you're feeling. So getting outside, enjoying the sunlight, getting the exercise, very, very powerful for lifting your mood and your spirits. So the physical activity combined with the tranquility of nature's surroundings can aid in bringing a sense of balance and perspective. Enjoying nature, listening to the bird song, looking at your own garden, whether you are somebody who is an actual active gardener or whether you're somebody just likes walking around and looking at the flowers without even knowing what they actually are, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy the moment, live in the moment, practice mindfulness. This is how you can get through challenging times, by enjoying the things that you can enjoy. And sometimes the simplicity and the tranquility of nature can be what we need to get us from a difficult day towards and through to the next, which hopefully will be a bit brighter for us in our mindset. Slowly but surely, day by day, things will get better. It's not a race. You're not necessarily going to be feeling top of the world tomorrow, but you can and you will feel a little bit better every single day, especially in my opinion, if you follow these steps. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and get through a difficult time, whether you are suffering from loss or whether you feel there are other aspects of your life that could be improved, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about how to cope with loss on Blue Monday. And point number 3 is set small, manageable goals. So loss can often make daily life feel overwhelming. So setting small, achievable goals can help bring a sense of accomplishment and structure. These goals might include basic self-care tasks, hobbies, or small projects. The key is to recognise and celebrate these small victories, as they can be stepping stones in coping with grief and finding a new normal. Now, I'm very, very big about celebrating small victories. Celebrating something in your own mind with a smile, enjoying what you want to do because you've achieved something. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe getting out of bed and actually making your bed before you leave the door is something that you struggle with right now, and therefore doing so would be a huge achievement, something to be celebrated, something to be acknowledged. Celebrate small victories. And when we consider setting these small, manageable goals, this is something that I can focus on via my audio coaching service. Lots of you may know that I provide breakup support, that I provide trying to get your ex back support, that I provide moving forward and trying to find a new dateable option support. But you might not realise, but I also provide life coaching in a general sense. So whether you're going through a breakup, whether you want to try and attract somebody new, or whether this has got nothing to do with romance or dating at all, and you just want support in lifting yourself up to a higher level, then my audio coaching, life coaching support could be for you, because this is where I can help you with small goal setting, small manageable tasks, and being your accountability partner. Because at this point in time, you might need that. Everybody's different. But whether you want to work with me, whether you want to speak with friends and family, whether you want to try and do this yourself, I would always ask friends and family for support. But if you want to do some of this yourself, then please make sure the goals you set are small and manageable. If you give yourself a mountain to climb, you are more likely to become disheartened and not continue. We don't want you to break a New Year's resolution just because it was too big, it was too challenging. You missed doing what you needed to do for one day, and therefore you quit altogether. Give yourself something that you can achieve. Build up a streak of achieving it. Feel that warm glow of achievement and move forward. We're talking about loss today. This may have been about somebody dying. This may be about a relationship dying, i.e. a breakup. Whatever situation you are faced with, the feeling of loss can be scary, and it can ultimately change your routine. It's very important you get into a new, healthy routine. Structure is very important. Learning to live with your new normal might seem scary. It might seem like something you don't even want to do. You don't want to accept this, but you need to. And if it is regarding a breakup, you may one day get your ex back. It is possible, but not if you don't get yourself into the right mindset, into a positive routine. If you are trying to reconnect with somebody, it's absolutely vital that if they contact you, you are in a place where you are ready to build a new connection with them. Because if you're not, if they contact you and your house is a state, it's a mess, you look like you're not looking after yourself, is this really going to be something that your ex wants to move back into? Now, you've got to think of it in that regard. Now, not all of you will be here due to a breakup, and even if you are, there's no guarantee that you can get your ex back. Whatever type of loss you have suffered, it's really important that you set yourself goals into the future that are manageable, achievable, and will lead you to a path of ultimate happiness. Because you can feel happiness again. Whatever has happened, you will smile again. So please don't be scared. Please don't be fearful. This year could be the best year of your life. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.